Good morning. As the Israelites left captivity in chapter 13, God had protected them. He had shown them the way, and the route to the promised land would be long. But God was with them, guiding them by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. And what a blessing it must have been in that moment to have this constant reminder of the Lord always before them, in the day or at night. And then now in chapter 14, God brings them to a place that might not make the most sense, but was necessary for their complete deliverance from the hand of Pharaoh. And as they left, the Lord gave instructions to Moses to take the people, take them to camp by the Red Sea, kind of boxed in there, nestled in with no clear escape route. And God had a plan to defeat Pharaoh and his army and to show his own glory and to miraculously deliver Israel all at the same time. Earlier, Moses may have doubted, but this time things are different. In verse 4, God says, "I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will chase after you. I have planned this in order to display my glory through Pharaoh and his whole army. After this, the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord." So the Israelites camped there as they were told. Wow. Moses and Israel did as they were told. They listened to this and said, "Yes, God." Moses was growing in his leadership. He didn't try to negotiate with God this time. After time passes, through our experience seeing God work and spending time with him, we too must trust in him more and more. We should grow. Our leaders grow over time in their leadership and trust of God, and followers should do the same. How are you? How am I growing in that way? It's a good question. Our yes to God must come more quickly and with more exuberance the more we walk with him and see him work. Notice that even though God said that Pharaoh would chase after them, he didn't reveal the full exit strategy for Israel or what was next, and yet they still obeyed. Pastor Tony Evans said it like this: just because you can't see the way doesn't mean God doesn't have the way. God knows what he's up to, and he'll reveal the next step in due time. Isn't that the way it is sometimes in our life? God leads us to a place and then waits to show us what's next. Once Pharaoh realized that Israel had fled, he changed his mind. He wanted his slaves back. So he gathers 600 of his best chariots, and with all his forces, all of his army, he chases them down and catches up to them. And when Israel sees them coming, imagine that feeling, a full army, complete with chariots, cutting-edge technology for the day, closing in on them. We don't have to guess about how they felt about this situation. They instantly blamed the leader, Moses. They said, "You have brought us here to die. We should have remained slaves in Egypt. We're doomed." We're going to find out this is a theme with Israel. Sometimes we, too, will blame others when God has us in a situation to make us better, to teach us, to mold us into the image of his Son. Too many times we long for the easy path when the difficult one is what we need. It's hard for me to even say that. It's hard to accept, but it's so true. God knows this, and in his wisdom, he guides us through these difficulties. He'll put us through adversity, not to destroy us, but to refine us. By the end of verse 12, they are sitting ducks there by the sea, ready to be captured or destroyed by the enemy. They are boxed in. How can they escape? God mentioned that this was all a plan to show his glory over Pharaoh and over Egypt. How then will he accomplish this? Well, I think you know what he does next, and we will get into that next time. But until then, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.